Okay, it looks good. Hold on, my model got hid. Looks like my model's coming through. Looks like my tablet's coming through. Okay, looks really good. So this right here is, I like to draw my thumbnails sometimes. Usually it's just like a really easy thing, but sometimes I like to draw them. So this is one. I drew a sketch, as you can see here. I got my face. This one here is Mac. I was just drawing the thumbnail, and this was going to be like a Looney Tunes inspired thumbnail because we were playing some co-op. So I figured this would probably be like kind of what I was doing. Feel free to just, ask any questions about anything here on the process. So this is, hold on, maybe I could take off some of this nonsense. Okay, so this right here, what you're looking at is a sketch I drew on paper and pencil. Then I just took a picture of it on my phone, emailed it to myself, and then uploaded it here to, I use Clip Studio Paint. So, and then from here I edit it. That's what all these like white lines everywhere is, right? So I edited just my face, just their face, just to get a feel for what I would kind of wanted to draw like. And I was just going to start the inking process. Just start like right here, zoom in, maybe get like a size 10 pen, really thick border lines, right? See, I'm working on a vector layer. Now, vector layers are really cool because with vector layers, you get to do cool stuff you can do with a raster layer. So like with vector layers, I could do this thing called adjust line width. And that's where I can just take this line, and you see how it all has a uniform thickness? This black line here, it all is very uniform in its thickness. I can take this tool and I can increase the thickness. As you can see, this bottom part here that I'm like rubbing, it's getting thicker, right? That's a really cool thing you could do with vector lines. Vector lines have a bunch of other interesting mechanics you could do. Like, just like how I could thicken it, I could also thin it down, make the lines thinner, which is really, really neat. Because I don't like manually making lines thicker like that. I prefer digitally doing them, letting the process automate itself. So right now I'm just covering all of my lines. A nice tip I like to have is, for really nice aesthetic, you can make the outside your lines thicker than your inside lines. So what I mean by that, like, are you familiar at all with like drawing digitally?
Oh no.
Oh yeah. I remember I used to be a tradition. I mean, I still am a traditional artist, I guess, with paper and pencil. But I move a lot of my stuff that I draw normally over to. Hold on, maybe I could place. Do I have any music? Got a one song. No, I don't think I have it here. Anyway, I move a lot of my drawings that I do traditionally on paper and pencil. I move them over digitally because I get to really master them. So this has no colors right now. It's just a sketch I drew real quick. Honestly, at work, I like to sketch my thumbnails when I have time, right? So I would take out my sketch pad and start drawing. Oh, I wonder what my thumbnail will look like, and then I start sketching it. And then when I get home, I bring the sketch, upload it, and just do this, essentially. And this is how I like to spend my time. Do you have any hobbies? Can I call you VT? Can I call you the following VT?
You can
TFV?
call me following VT or following VT. Both of those work.
It's nice. Do you have any hobbies, VT?
My hobbies is actually my job, and it's acting.
Ah, yeah, very nice. A thespian, are we?
Sorry?
A thespianism, acting.
Oh yeah.
It's nice. So that came along pretty fast. I managed to cover a lot of the outside very, very quickly. Let's get the ear here. It's funny looking ear. Let's get this hair. Finish off the ear there. Like that. Bring this all the way down. Notice speed is a big part of drawing. That you don't want to go too slow, because if you go too slow, your lines won't have very much confidence. if your lines don't have confidence, you get a lot of jaggedness, you'll see. So let's see how that outline came along. So I just come over here, take off my sketch. And yeah, that outline looks pretty good. This is a vector line. I'm just going to connect all the lines using the connect vector feature. Just, spread that around, make sure it's all one uniform line. It doesn't look like it made much of a difference, but it helps out later. What else can I do? Let's adjust line width. So what I like to do with adjust line width, set it to thicken, and find any of these super sharp points here. You see where it's like a very acute angle? And just hit it with a little bit extra thickness right at the point. Give it a bit better aesthetic. Right where it's pointy, just give it a little touch up with the thick line. Doesn't look like it makes much of a difference, but it's these little details that really add up. That looks a little bit better. And conversely, let's go to narrow, and we'll just make some of these really flat, obtuse lines a little narrower. Like right here, and the ear a little bit, the ear over there. The chin over here could be a little thinner, and that looks good. And I hate it when I touch a layer, when I touch a folder, and suddenly my whole workspace goes crazy bonkers. Okay. Now that I got the outside lines, the next thing I like to do is touch up the inside lines. So the outside, I did it with a size 10 brush. That's that big. The inside lines, I think I might go as low as like a size 5. You see, that's much thinner. With the eyes, I noticed the eyes were a little bit uneven when I first started sketching it. So on my tablet, I'll make them nice and even. Like one way to tell if you're drawing evenly is just take your image and just flip it. If it looks fine flipped, you did a good job. If it doesn't look fine flipped, you might have a bit of a right or left bias here, depending on which side you're drawing on. So you got work tomorrow, right? Or you got work today, technically. It's like 1 o'clock for you, right?
No, I just need to wake up tomorrow because they are installing my internet and it's pretty early in the morning.
I see, I see.
But I don't have work now.
Just saying that. Looks pretty okay. This is actually like a really hard line to do, making that upside down U shape. The next hardest, the hardest one's probably doing like a perfect circle. Let's see. That looks like the eyes. Yeah. Put into iris real quick. Bada boom. And bada bing. Another cool thing you can do with vector lines is you see how the iris kind of goes farther than it's supposed to be? Like if I take out the sketch, it looks like this. Right? The cool thing about vector lines is you can erase them very easily like that. If you use a normal non-vectors eraser, you would have to erase it like this. You gotta go in slowly and just slowly start picking at it until you get it out perfectly. But with a vectored eraser, you can cut off excess lines like one swipe, right? So if I draw like a box and I draw like a line through the box, with a vectored eraser, I could just erase what's inside the box, just what's outside the box, very easily. So I love using vector lines. It makes things so much easier that normally takes like a ludicrous amount of time. What was I doing? The face, yeah. So you recently got back to streaming, right? Like you were like on hiatus for a bit?
Yeah.
Okay. How's streaming been for you? Like how long have you been streaming before?
Only like a couple of streams. Like the longest stream I did was a Halloween stream. But I was overflown with work, and so I took a hiatus, and also with following everyone on Twitter. I quit it for a bit, but now work season is wrapping up, so I want to get back to streaming and moving into my new apartment and all that stuff.
Yeah, streaming has been pretty fun lately, honestly. You get something to look forward to every day. It's like a nice scheduled thing. It's different from work.
Oh yeah.
Because when I first started like 2 months ago, I thought it would be kind of like work. Um, and in a way, I mean, I guess you got schedules and stuff like that, but it's more something I kind of look forward to doing every day. Like it's weird. It's kind of like exercising. Like if you do a lot of exercising, you sort of miss. Like if you miss a day of exercise, it's like, oh well, that didn't feel too good. Um, so same kind of thing with me and streaming. Honestly, I feel like if I miss a day of streaming, I'm like, oh man, I don't know. I could have been doing something, been putting some content out there, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so like yeah, like it's very interesting. It's only been 2 months, but I feel like I'm gonna be at this for a while. That, and let's put a little line up here. Cut that, cut that. Okay, so far. Let's see, maybe do the mouth. That face on that end. But yeah, everything is like a skill. Um, like oh, right. Let's use this. Yeah, teeth up, teeth down. Got kind of those SpongeBob-y teeth. Well, no, SpongeBob. He has a gap in his teeth, but he has just the two teeth coming out. I just have the gap. He has the buck teeth with the gap. And yeah, that looks good. Mouth. Use my fancy vector eraser to just clean up a bit. Let's fix this line just like that.
So how long have you been drawing and stuff?
That's a interesting question. I mean, I guess since kindergarten. Um, but like I don't know, I haven't I've been drawing digitally since I was like 14, I guess. But I take like long hiatuses because, well, not hiatuses because like I really just draw for myself. But um, but honestly, like before I started streaming, weird thing is I would like almost never draw, right? Like I would draw and then I would like get unmotivated and then I stopped drawing for like a while. I never forget how to draw really, but I just haven't been motivated to draw anything. Right? I'm like, I don't want to draw anything. None of these characters are too inspiring. But ever since I started streaming, I noticed I've been drawing a lot more lately. Mainly because I have like a reason to, because I gotta draw my thumbnails. The thumbnails I do draw, I draw them. Right? Not all of them I draw. Some of them are just simple visual editing. Put avatar here, making face, put game. Um, but the thumbnails I do draw get me into drawing more often, right?
Hmm.
So I've been drawing for a couple of years, but it hasn't been until recently I've like consistently been drawing. I used to take commissions a while back, not so much anymore, because honestly, like a lot of artists really undervalue how much they're worth, and they like draw stuff for like pennies. Well, not pennies, but they draw stuff for like very little an hour, like $5 an hour, right? Like they'll do a commission, put in like 100 hours into it, and make like I don't know, well, definitely less than definitely less than $1,000. That's less than $10 an hour. But yeah, like I would just overwork myself with commissions, and I'd be like, this isn't worth it. So now I only started drawing for myself, because it's a lot of hours doing commissions. Little
Oh
thing like
yeah.
that. Put in the more right here. And see what that looks like. Let's take off the sketch. A happy little guy. I dig it. Okay, now we put in. Now Joey has this little line coming down his face. Draw it like that. Oh, Yeah, I would like acting. I've never been an actor, but like I can imagine what it's like.
Um, the like my last project was a big one. It was for a movie, and
Nice.
it's pretty. it's it's in over here. People love the movie so much because it's like a little bit of history about our country that was also in other countries was pretty famous. It was about a dancing that shut down because of all the activities that happened there. But that was my biggest project I worked on, and I was so proud of it.
It's good.
And to be an actor, it's rough sometimes because if you get overflown with too much projects, like I have a couple of shows that I need to do because I do movies and I do shows as well. Um, it can be a little bit too much if, especially the company I work for is throwing all these projects on the table that are like, yep, we gotta make money.
Like, as long as it's fulfilling, right?
Yeah, yeah, I love doing it.
Of course. Yeah. That's the kind of mentality you got to have. Because then like it's just very draining.
I love doing it as a kid, and now I'm doing it as my job. So it's awesome.
Good to hear, good to hear. Something a little weird looking about his eye. Let me take off the sketch again, see what it looks like. It's this part right here. This looks kind of bulbish. Let's just erase some of those lines. Better. Okay. Let's connect this line down here. We're almost done with the line art. Let's got to do the hair. About getting things exactly right. I tend to notice, this sounds kind of stereotypical, but the whole Bob Ross, happy little accidents thing. I feel like that's something a lot of artists do. Like a lot of the times, I notice when I draw something incorrectly, I end up drawing something I didn't know I liked, and then I end up keeping it, and then I just draw like that from now on. Like a lot of the methods I use in drawing, I came up with on complete accident when trying to draw something else, and then I'll look at it and be like, what, that actually looks like it's not what I was trying to do, but it looks very good for something else I might want to do. So I'm going to keep it because I think it was a nice, happy little accident. And, eventually you just like develop a lot of these throughout the drawing process that you eventually just come to rely on your accidents as like tools, you know, um,
Mhm.
a weaponized accident, dare I say. Let's get this part. Yeah.
So have you made your own model, or did you commission someone?
So my model, I made it myself. Let me see if I can bring it up. Actually, I have the whole PDF around here somewhere. Game. That's codec desktop. Starter. Here we go. Master clip. Okay, let's hopefully it comes up. Okay, here we go. See if OBS picks that up. And there you go. Awesome. Yeah, so I did make my own model. Let's just take some of this because I ended up putting a lot of random stuff. Honestly, like what was it? Oh yeah, so I remember thinking to myself one day, is like, oh, these virtual streamers sure are popular. And then I saw on YouTube they had so you know how YouTube they do that thing Google does now where like they'll replace their logo on certain days with like special things, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'd have these special, nice looking gifts or whatever. I remember one time I was on YouTube and I saw that they had a virtual, they had one on virtual streamers, right? It's like, oh yeah, check out virtual streamers on YouTube, and then I have like a history on virtual streamers, and I'm like, you know what, these streamers sure are popular. They sure are pretty mainstream nowadays. If even like YouTube itself, the entity YouTube itself, is advertising. So I'm like, okay, let's see like what I could do. And then I thought, well, you know, everything that's mainstream always has like a parody of it, right? Like Shrek is parody of like Disney, Pixar, right? Yeah, yeah, Disney, Pixar, that's Shrek. One Punch Man is parody of shonen popularity. Um, you know, South Park is just overall satire on celebrity culture, yada yada yada. I thought, well, what's the parody of like virtual streamers that like doesn't exist, right? Like I couldn't think, like I scoured through all the virtual streamers I know, and I couldn't find any that I thought were like, oh, they're parodying virtual streaming, you know, VTuber culture. And I'm like, well, maybe I should do that. So I spent a couple months drawing a character, you know, prototyping a bunch of steps, right? I got like so many files here, right? I got the body, got the belly, got the shoes, the shirt, and I'm like, I'm going with this design, right? A mime. I'm going with a mime. I'm going with a mime, and he has some nice kicks, and yeah, and I called him Joey D King, and that's how I came up with the idea for it. Um, and yeah, I just sort of kept sticking with that. I've been doing it for 2 months, and I gotta say, it's been pretty fulfilling. Honestly, I've never drawn so much in my life, at least not in the period that I'm doing now. Because before, I would draw, you know, like I said, I would draw like very sparingly, right? I would draw like if I had time and if I was in the mood, right? Which is like never, right? I would draw like a couple times a year, and then I'd be like, okay, that's it, that's enough drawing. But now I think I draw like at least every day, probably. It's been quite the endeavor, I gotta say.
Mm.
And you know, I'm not just drawing nonsense. Like, you know, the thing I'm drawing right now, I like when I came up with it, I felt like it was very inspired. I still feel like it's inspired now. So this is a thumbnail for another collab I'm doing with Makia, and I was like, you know what? I should do like a Looney Tunes style thumbnail for this. It'll be so cool. So, you know, I sketched it at work, you know, during lunch or whatever. I'm like, let me get a quick sketch in. Uploaded it, brought it here. Now I'm working on it with you right now. So that was the whole process I had right there. And I really like this. I really like this thumbnail. Uh, it's not the most technically savvy. Like, it doesn't use the most what's the phrase I'm thinking of? It's not the most artistically technical drawing, right? Like it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
use every single artistic technique I know to get the most hyper realistic, crazy looking. No. But honestly, I think the idea is good enough, and I'm motivated enough where I can just look at it and be like, yeah, I was proud of this drawing. You know, it didn't take me a million years to draw it, but you know, I think the idea was good. I think the execution came out good. Uh, you know, it's overall just like a little passion project thing. Uh, Let me see how that line art came out. Hey, look at that happy guy. I dig it. I'm thinking, I'm not sure if I should go with. Okay, so as you can see, the teeth don't have any. Like you don't see the individual teeth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if I should go with like the teeth as a big block, or maybe I should go with the teeth have little lines. Like, let's see what that looks like both ways. Go like this. I don't know if it should look like something like that, maybe. What do you think? With the lines or without the lines? With
Uh,
or without?
Let me check. The stream is loading in,
Oh, I see. I
or
see.
at least
It's
it has a bit of
probably
a.
a bit faster.
Oh, okay. Now I see it. With the line or without the lines?
Look good, but I'm
Yeah, they
curious what
both
you
look
think.
good.
Let me zoom it out a
I
bit.
think without is pretty cool.
Without, right?
Yeah.
Without. Okay. We'll keep it like that. If I ever want to put the teeth back in, I just turn on this layer and it just comes back on. Okay, so I'll go without the lines, and the mole should be on the left. Should be on the right. That's correct. And okay, now I can just start putting in colors. Thankfully, I have my little color thing right here. Color set. I was actually thinking of commissioning my model a long, long time ago. When did I start making my model? I think I started making my model like 7 or 8 months ago. I was thinking of commissioning it, but the problem is no one would take my commission. Like I described to them what character I wanted to make. I'm like, okay, can you make a character? He's kind of a little bit on the heavy side. He's a mime. Give him like a red tie with like stocking crosses across it, and like no one would take the commission. Like everyone that made live 2D models was like, sorry, I can only make anime girl. Do you want anime girl? And I'm like, no, that's not the character I'm going with. It has to be mime. No one wanted to do it. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just do it myself. But drawing a live 2D model is different than drawing like a normal thing because you have to layer it very specifically. If you don't layer it specifically, it'll you can't rig it later, right? The rigging comes out terribly because you didn't take the time to layer it specifically. So I had to learn like how do they want me to layer this, right? And then I learned a bit of live 2D online. I found like a YouTube series. It was very helpful. No, that's the wrong color. Yeah, I found a YouTube series and I just followed it, learned some live 2D rigging, and then, I think it came out pretty nice, the rigging. Might rig more stuff in the future, but for now, I think I'll just stick with Joey. Let's see here. There's that, and then we grab some skin tone over here. Did I save that one? Is it this one? Yep, looks good. Just blot in the ears. I'll color in all these, like, this is part of the minutia of drawing. You see all these, like, little gaps? You gotta come in and color them in. They're usually in the corners. I can't just blot it in, and you come and fill in these little gaps. It's paint. But yeah, that's a little minutia of drawing. I'll do that touch up later. I just want to see what the overall feel of it. Let's grab some white. And let's do the eyeballs and the teeth. Actually, are my teeth pure white? Let me grab my teeth color real quick. It's like the same thing. And the mouth. Just red right there. Put that in. Bam. The hair color, I just grab it from my own hair. Right here. Is that right? It looks a little too dark. My hair color's right there. Just blot that in. Bing, boom. And we got a working face. Very nice. I could blot in the eyebrows.
I have to be honest, I kind of enjoy this.
Really? Well, that's always good to hear. I mean, like if I enjoy it, I hope other people enjoy it too. Just seeing the drawing process. Like, thankfully, this kind of drawing is kind of easy to draw very quickly, right? Like if I was drawing on another live 2D model, the drawing would be so slow because every line has to be meticulously picked, right? Every line, every detail has to be meticulously drawn. But this nice little thumbnail, it's very quick, it's very satisfying. Like in a couple of minutes, you see a lot of progress being made.
Yeah.
And that's the first head. I just got to draw Mac's head. We'll put that in another layer. This over here. And again, let me know if you have any questions. Any kind of questions, a truth or dare question, a question on drawing, whatever. Because I feel like I'm very knowledgeable on drawing, but I don't know if you have any truth or dare questions or like any burning questions. Just let me know. I'm happy to oblige. Plus,
Right.
I don't know. For some reason, it seems more fun to draw when like someone else is watching because it's like I get to explain what I'm doing and it doesn't sound like I'm just like speaking crazy. I'm like, oh well, you got to do this and you got to do that, and I'm like, oh well, that doesn't make sense. But then like I show you and I'm like, oh yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's that's probably why Bob Ross was able to draw so well. He was speaking to the camera guy. Bob Ross was the first art streamer. Ain't that something? Well, probably not the first, but he was definitely, my first art streamer. I would watch, the guy with the
I
afro,
think,
the happy little trees guy. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I think those horns look good. Okay. And then we get this. Um, so Mac is another virtual streamer that I collab with. I think you might be following her too on Twitter. Let's see if I have this one here, because I need to borrow the colors to get the drawing right.
Let me check.
It's Macchia, I believe. There's 3 C's in it. Just like that. And then do this. Okay. I think my drawing pen ran out of battery. I'm gonna need to get
Oh,
another battery. But okay, so I think that might be it for now because I don't have another quadruple A battery. I'm using a Surface Pro 4 or 5, I think. And these quadruple A batteries, I need to buy them specifically on Amazon. They're not like triple A batteries; they're even smaller than that. So without another battery, I can't keep drawing because it won't let me. And I'm not going to draw with a mouse. That is hell. Hell is
oh
just
yeah,
drawing with a
that.
mouse, right? Like as soon as someone goes to hell, Satan gives you a drawing tablet and a mouse, and he tells you start drawing, and that's what happens for eternity. No way I'm drawing with a mouse, so I'm gonna need to get myself another quadruple A battery until this thing. I never honestly, this thing lasted a while. This thing lasted me like I don't know, like since I've been drawing every day, it lasted me about 2.5 months. I
Oh,
guess it is nearing the end of its life. I guess I need to change out that battery. But okay, so that's this is probably what I'm going to be doing. I can't keep drawing on it now, but I guess I can probably, I don't know, I could probably keep sketching this and then uploading the sketch updates to my tablet with a mouse at least. But okay, um, thanks for coming to hang out. I did think this would turn
oh,
into a drawing stream, but I had fun. I had fun
yeah.
drawing.
I had fun as well. I love to listen. So
Just end it with that. End it with Joey's happy face. Hey, okay. So, I got